What's going on, YouTube? It's Donnie B all day, and this is going to be a quick and simple video. We're going to be in and out of this one. So here's the deal. I tested the Divo Growler. Now, this knife failed. It failed the testing. I love this knife. I don't know. There's just something about it. The design in this knife, I think, is beautiful. I think it's beautiful. From one designer to another, to the guys who designed this. Golly, man. A designer knows a good design, and this one is really, really superly well done. Superly well done. So now, what happened is, I did the review on this. It's so nice to feel this and not feel... and it failed where the edge took a pretty bad hit. And it took a bad hit cutting this. That's it. This is just a plastic mesh used for trampolines. That's all it is. And it tore this blade up. So this knife belongs to Thrasher's Garage. It belongs to Brandon. And you can see there's still a little chip right here. But there were, when I got it in and got to really check it out, there was a chip here that was a pretty good size. There was the chip here that also had a fold. So the fold is now gone. So you can see a little bit of chip left in the edge, but that's because it's not my knife and I didn't want to take away too much material. And I kind of knew that he could always go back to the maker, which is Divo Knives, and Lefty would take care of him. So I didn't want to take away material knowing that there's a good company standing behind it, right? So it had one there, and then another 4 here. And this area was pretty chunked up. So I did the video and I let Brandon know what was going on with it. And I'm thinking to myself, man, this thing, it probably has like no heat treat. It's bad. It's just really bad. And when he brought that information to Lefty, Lefty said that he had this problem before with somebody made a complaint. And what it was a burnt edge. That means an overheated edge. And so it was really sharp, but overheated, which made the edges of it fragile. So you take off that fragile piece, and there underneath you would have the properly heat-treated blade. Makes a lot of sense. That's not just some guy blowing smoke out of his ass. That's an actual thing. So when Lefty said that with the other one, I completely believe him. I have no reason to doubt, deny, or think that he is trying to just like say, oh, no, it's definitely blah, 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 blah. No, he's standing up to his product. He's saying, yep. He didn't even have to say this happened before. He could have said, wow, that's a first. So I resharpened it. I took away all of the chips except this one. I took away all the folds and all the burrs. Those are completely gone. So I'm almost pretty much at a brand new edge again. So what we want to do is, now that we took off, if it was a burnt edge, now that we took off what would have been the burnt edge, is this edge any good? So we're going to find out. And I want to make this very fair. And I really want to be fair to Divo Knives, because the owner over there, Lefty, is a stand-up guy. So I want to give him a stand-up evaluation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare it. This is a high-end steel. It is a great steel. This is not. This is a old Frost cutlery. I'm missing some screws, so I just glued it. This is a Frost cutlery 440 steel. This thing I've taken to hell and back. Literally, I have used this a lot. No problems with it. So we're going to use a 440 steel, so a low-end steel. And then that's with a basic heat treat, just a run-of-the-mill heat treat. But then we're going to use a mid-grade steel in the Spyderco Tenacious, which I know has a really good heat treat. So we're going to do the same test on all 3 of these, and we're going to see, because if I just tested the Growler and it failed, people could say, well, yeah, but look what you did to it. That's why it failed. So if the other 2 do not fail, and that one does, then we know there's something going on in the heat treat. If it doesn't fail, then we know it was a burnt edge. And here's a good thing about Lefty is he told Brandon straight out. He says, look, it's a burnt edge. Tell him to resharpen it and try again, and it should correct it. So, and he told him, if it doesn't, I'm going to take care of you. We're going to figure things out. So that's just a stand-up guy, right? It's just a stand-up guy. It's the way, if you're going to run a business, that's the way to do it. He's saying, look, here's an option. If the option fails, I got your back. I like that. And he got to him. He got right back to him, like right away. Boom, same day. That's another really good quality in a knife guy. I have that same reaction with off-grid knives, right? They get back right away. It's just, I like that. I like when a knife company is willing to say, okay, let's do it. So what we're going to do is all 3 knives, we're going to put a cut into this netting and see. Now, some knives, for some reason, don't get through this. I don't know why. Some knives just fail. But some don't. But I think all 3 of these should, I know the Growler can because it already did. That's how it got jacked up. But all 3 of these should be able to do it. So let's start with the cold steel, the cheapest one of all, the worst heat treat, all that. So I really got to push that one into there because like other knives that go through easy, look at this. See, I'm telling you, this net test, guys, you think it's like a weak test when I do all these knives pass, and then only a couple knives fail, and you're thinking, yeah, it's easy. You just had a weird angle or something. No, this stuff is no joke. That is not a clean cut. That is a tear right there. So I just literally ripped it. That is not a clean cut. So the edge on this 440 steel Frost cutlery blade is having a very, very hard time. Still haven't gotten through it with this plastic netting. There we'll just rip it. Very, very hard time with this stuff. And again, look at that. This is the stuff that gave the Growler problems. So it's really good stuff. So what I want to do, okay, I feel no chips or no folds anyway. Now I really look at this edge. And I don't know, let's see if you can see what I can see, but the edge looks pretty good. The edge didn't get dinged up. It's not folded over. It's not bent in any way. So that's good. So that's that one. I'm going to leave it open because we have 2 more tests to do. So now I'm going to use the Spyderco. Same test. I just want to cut through, and even the Spyderco. Oh, well, there it goes. Okay, so now that, you see the difference between that frayed line and that cut line. The Spyderco, sweet, man. And let me tell you guys, you know, I am not a big fan of Spyderco because I think the designs are ugly as sin. This is one of the ugliest knives ever made, but they work, they work, they work. So I will continue to use it. So let's see. Well, let's see. So I'm not just bringing out like knives that, like if I really wanted to like show off, oh yeah, no, I would bring out some really, really different knives, and I'd bring out the V2s from Off Grid, and I'd bring out the 4 Max from Colton. I want this to be a really, really honest test from best, high class to low class, and see if it's really going to affect anything. Let's even give it one more cut because this thing's breezing through. And there is, I mean, you can't pretty much feel anything in this blade. The edge is really, really nice there. It looks good. The plastic did nothing to it. So that's that. Now we're going to go back to the Growler, and we'll see if today, see how nice that it's, I mean, I did sharpen it, and it's really, really sharp. But this is what happened with it. So we're going to really, really check it. I keep losing the angle and I'm getting shortcuts with it. Maybe it's because it's at an angle now, but let's see. Let's try and just cut it this way, and we'll give it another one, and we'll see if the edge is marred in any way, shape, or form. And slightly, but not really. I mean, there's like right here is really nice, right? Yeah, I could feel just a little bit of like burring. That's the chip, so it could be something around there, but I felt a little bit up here, but not really like it was before. So immediately it did better than it did the first time. Immediately. All right, so that's a good sign. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do a wood tap, right? I want to tap a couple different parts of the blade just on some nice stiff wood and see if we get any denting or rolling or anything like that on the frost cutlery blade. Crazy. The frost cutlery blade, nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. So now we're going to go to the Spyderco. Just hit different parts of the blade, hitting the end to the middle to the tip. Sending wood chips flying through the library. She's going to love that. And I mean, this is, you know, one of the best heat treats on the planet is Spyderco. So I really don't doubt it. But when you're talking about comparing a knife's heat treat, you want to bring out something really good and something really bad. So you're literally right there in the middle. All right, now we're going to take out the growler and do the same thing. It is chopping little tiny pieces off like crazy, and I feel nothing different. Yeah, nothing different. There is just a little burr right here. That's it, just a little tiny one, and that's it. There's pretty much nothing on there. So I'm going to call that a pass because I think that burr was from the net, not the wood. So doing that is that. So now, this is the one. I got this little piece of aluminum. So aluminum is not hard, obviously. It's soft, but it can damage an edge. We're just going to do a couple taps. Up from the tip to the bottom. And I could actually feel this biting in, which is nice. And again, on the frost cutlery blade, there is nothing. I mean, nothing. It's just pure. You can feel, you can run your fingernail down there. It is crazy smooth. I got a little dirt on it, so I want to turn it around so you can see how clean that edge is, because right here, there was a dirt spot, and it looked like a chip, but it's not. You can see from the side. It's really, really smooth. It's just dirty. So this held up to the aluminum. And you could see the aluminum took some little cuts on it, right? So let's do this one. All right, so we'll test the Spyderco edge. And the Spyderco edge feels pretty smooth. I just spit on myself. It's what I do for you guys. So, so that held up really, really well. And we will come back to this. And heard something in the background. All right. So now we will test this edge on the aluminum and see if it does anything at all. It's making good chunks in the aluminum, and so far I have to say that it didn't get any worse. So it feels I actually just saw where that first chip, there it is. See where that chip is? That's remaining from, I think, the original chip. I don't think that's new. I don't know. I remember getting it out, but that's where I'm feeling some chunkiness is right around that chip area. So I'm wondering if the heat treat maybe is sporadic. I don't know, but you can see right there, there is a clear chip. This chip was there yesterday, so that's the one that had the fold in it. It's really hard to tell. Is it better than it was yesterday? Yes, I'm telling you 100% it is better than it was yesterday. Am I feeling more in this one than the other two? Yes. Should I? No, this is a much better knife. It's much better steel. Obviously, Spyderco is some of the best heat treat in the world. But this steel is better than this steel. These guys just heat treat like sons of guns. All right, so we're going to do one more thing, and I just want to do a slice on the aluminum. And I'm going to go both sides. And again, with the cold steel, it's an anomaly. I don't know why. I mean, not cold steel, the frost cutlery. I don't know why this knife I've carried so much. It's like a $5 knife. I don't know why it's good. I really don't. But I found no problems in the very cheap, very, very cheap frost cutlery knife. we will go here. You can hear it. I'm catching grooves. And that's pretty smooth. That's pretty smooth. I do feel a little bit right here. I don't know if anything will pick up. I don't know. It's so small, though. It's just, I could feel it with my, like, you have to, like, really feel with every little fiber in your finger to feel something. But it's right there, and I could feel it a little tiny bit. So the knife with the best heat treat, I can feel a little, well, now it's gone. Maybe it was just, oh, maybe it was just aluminum stuck on the blade, because now I'm not feeling, okay, so nothing. That was just aluminum on the blade, an aluminum chip, or like just a small splinter. Now it's probably in my finger. So we're going to do the last one with this. You hear the drag? It's a little different. Let's see. If anything, maybe this will sharpen it and take away the burrs. At least kind of hone the burrs away, and I think it did. So I had the burrs here, and I think that doing that literally smoothed out the burrs. So I used it more as a honing rod than to test the edge. So I have to say that the edge did perform better. I don't know if that chip is the one from yesterday or if it's a new one, but you can see it right there. I just don't know, man. I don't know. And I'm sending the knives from Brandon off to Scab to check out. And I don't know if I should have him really test this one or if I should let Brandon send it to Lefty and let him decide, because I'm doing tests that are mild, and who knows, he might do something different, Lefty, I mean, to test it. And if it's a blade that he can fix or replace, I would obviously rather it go to him. But just the fact that I fixed it from its bad point, and if it was a burnt edge, then it really makes sense that it's fixed now, because that would have been the burnt edge coming off. So yeah, I can feel burrs again from cutting the plastic net, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it one more honing and a nice little, I'll sharpen it first and then give it a nice honing, and I will send it off. Scabber, if you're watching, it's up to you if you want to test it. It's really up to you, or up to Brandon if he says, go ahead. It's definitely better than the first time, but it's just a little, there's just something, a little something going on there. I want to take out these chips, but it's Brandon's knife, so I don't want to take down the bevel and have to restart. It is not my knife, and I already know that Lefty already stand up. He's already saying, don't worry, I'll take care of it. So I don't know if maybe we should play with it anymore, but I will hone it up and give it a little bit of sharpening, just to send it back to you nice. But here's the deal, and here's a shout to Lefty over at Divo Knives. Because I know you didn't make this personally, you sent it out to have it made, so nobody can blame you for anything. What we can blame you for is the design, which is perfect. Here's the deal. If you happen to have one of these laying around, I really want to buy it. So I can't find this for sale. I can't find one. So Lefty, if you are watching this and you happen to have one, I would love to. I don't even care if it had a burnt edge. I like this knife so much that the reward is far greater than the risk. That's how much I really appreciate your design here. I mean, I really, really do. So, there you go. It's definitely better. I mean, it was folded and all kinds of crap yesterday. I'm not getting any of that today. So, could it have been a burnt edge? I think it just may have been. I think it may have been, and I think that the chips that are in there now are just, I know this one definitely is remaining from yesterday. This one may have been, and it was just really so small, it's hard to see. But I don't know. I honestly, as a knife guy, I'm telling you as knife guys, if you plan on buying from Divo, I would not let that stop me in the least, because that would be such a rare thing. Such a rare thing, and especially in this. If you happen to, if you're on eBay and you see one used or whatever, pick it up. Pick it up. You might be getting yourself a gem. This is a really sweet blade. So that's it for this one. Lefty, thank you for the design. Brandon, thank you for the loaner. Scab, find out first. I mean, who knows? You could at least still do some shorts with it. But that's it for this one. I think it passed. I honestly think it passed. I am Donnie B all day. Until next knife.